Okay. Oh my goodness. We have a supermodel in hell today. We're going to supermodel hell. I've been wanting to have her on for so long. Also, like, I definitely do have a girl crush on you.
Oh my God, really?
Like, I think you're the most beautiful model who's ever did it.
What? I'm so flattered.
Like,
Thank
for
you.
a while. And like, I don't mean to creep you out right now, but I literally think like I'm pretty confident in myself, but like I would trade faces with you.
Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's so nice. We're getting off on the right foot. Let's keep going.
I mean, like, aesthetically, I'm obsessed with you. I have your Wikipedia. Well, first of all, give it up for Emily Di Donato.
Woo!
Di Donato. Nice
God.
Italian girl.
Yes.
But also Irish.
Yes.
And a little Native American.
That is correct. Yes. But mostly Italian, mostly Irish.
You know, I'm Italian, a little Jewish. My husband is Irish. So our baby's going to look like you.
Yeah. Oh my God, perfect.
Oh my God, we're going to have a supermodel. I like, you guys think I'm like joking when I say supermodel, but I'm actually not joking at all. I have your Wikipedia page up because it was just like.
I don't even know what that's going to say. I think I
Tell
need
me
to
if it's
update that
wrong.
myself. Is that what people do? They update their own Wikipedia because that might not be accurate.
Yeah, I mean, some people's Wikipedia, I'm like, that's not right. But you, in 2009, were signed as the face of Maybelline.
That's right.
I mean, that's not a subtle gig.
No. So I had been modeling for like 6 months and I had gotten that contract. So I was like 17 years old. I was still in high school, like fully still in high school. So I found out about that. And that was really, really shocking and changed my entire life. And then I was with the brand for like 12 years. A very
How did
long
you get
time.
that gig? Were you with an agency?
Yes. So I was with an agency, and it's funny. I remember that summer I was going to the Jersey Shore for vacation.
As one does.
Yes. Like between my junior and senior year.
Beat up the beat.
Yep. It was great times, Long Beach Island. And I got asked to do a shoot for Glamour magazine.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me to come back to the city. And I was like, guys, are you seriously going to ask me to like shorten my one vacation of the year at the Jersey Shore? Like, this is like my Super Bowl to do the shoot. So glad that I did, though, because I did that shoot. It came out in Glamour magazine like in 2009. And someone at Maybelline saw it. And I went into the offices and met with everyone. And I did a test shoot as well, which was extremely painful because I literally did not know how to model, but I mean, they signed me shortly after. And then I was like doing TV commercials with like Christy Turlington and Adriana Lima, but had no idea what I was doing. God bless them for like dealing with me because I literally was like, where do I look?
Well, yeah, modeling has so many nuances and like, as someone who spent like all day, I was bitching about this on my last Giggly Squad podcast. I spent all day for this red carpet and I like got a spray tan. I got my hair done. I got a stylist. And then I was like, oh my God, this is all for like one Getty photo.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I panicked and it literally was a photo of my mouth moving. I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, this is why people get paid to do this.
No, it's so hard. It's
and
like
knowing your well, I'm not going to get, I did watch America's Next Top Model, so I know everything about modeling, but I do have to say you also backtrack had kind of that like story that everyone dreams of. It says that you were scouted at the Danbury Mall in Connecticut when you were 10 years old by a modeling agency.
I was not 10. I was like 15, 16 years old. But I was at the Danbury Mall with my mom, and someone came up to us, and there was like this modeling competition happening there. And they were like, you guys can come, and you'll like win this trip to New York City. Meanwhile, I was from upstate New York. Like that wasn't really like the craziest like award, but we were like, okay. I remember I was wearing like sneakers and like jean shorts, like very casual, and I went up on a stage. It was so weird, but there actually were legitimate like agents there from real agencies from like IMG and Elite and Next, and I met with all of them, and then shortly after that went to the city and like met with all of these agencies in person, and then I signed with a really small agency, and I was doing like Ralph Lauren. I remember I booked like a Ralph Lauren campaign like 3 days later. Like it happened so fast for me, so I was super grateful and like very lucky because so many girls go for
Were you
like
tall?
1, 3 years. Yeah, I'm 5'10".
Yeah.
And I was always like very athletic. And yeah, it just kind of happened quickly. And of course, like has changed and evolved over the years, but the beginning happened pretty quickly.
It's so funny. I'm from Park Slope, Brooklyn. It's pretty like artsy. And I remember we were all in elementary school playing in the yard as kids do. and this talent scout for Gap was there.
Mm-hmm.
And all the kids were like freaking out. And I was, of course, like, okay, this is my moment to shine. And my brother is like blonde, blue eyes, and actually really, really cute. And they pick my brother, and my parents lied to me to make me feel better and say that they picked me too. So they literally brought me to this like shoot, and they go, "Can you just let her take a photo because she thinks she's in the campaign?"
Stop! Oh
So that's why I'm a comedian.
That's so cute that your parents were like, no, you need to make her feel like she's in it too.
I think like I was always like a very driven kid, and my brother also was too young, like he was running around, but I was like waiting in line, like this is it for me. And they're like, little does she know that we're literally paying them to not kick her out right now.
That's an amazing story, though.
I haven't thought about that dark moment in a long time. So, I mean, kind of the obvious question is, do you enjoy modeling?
I think it was like painful at moments. There's like pros and cons to it like any other job.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger and I started, I think it seemed very cool and very glamorous. I traveled a lot, but I did miss out on like some core pieces, I feel like, of young adulthood, like going to college and just being stupid and silly. Like I mentioned, like you mentioned, I got signed with Maybelline very early on, and I felt like I was kind of like thrown into it quickly, and I didn't feel like I could go party or do things that people do in college. I didn't go to college. So I felt like I missed out on a couple of things, and of course thrown into an industry where like right away they're like kind of analyzing you and what you look like, and you're trying to fit into a very specific mold. So that was painful.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say now as an adult, and obviously this is like 12 years later, what I am grateful for was like I was able to become financially independent at a very young age. I didn't grow up with like wealthy parents or anything like that. My dad was a New York City firefighter. My mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Aww.
So like by the time I was like 19 years old, I like bought my own apartment in New York City and was like,
my God.
I don't say that to be like flex. I say it to be like, it was real financial independence for me and something that I really invested like time and energy into. And I'm so grateful looking back that I did that. And it allowed me to learn to work with lots of different people, sometimes very difficult people from all parts of the world, people who don't speak English and you do, and you're trying to figure it out. And I like working with creative people, and I like being a part of like a bigger project and a bigger vision. Mm-hmm. Now I can say that as an adult, but when I was younger, there were many painful like moments. But like your 20s are painful no matter what you're doing.
Oh my God, your 20s are horrible. People need to stop saying it's the best time of your life because you're so confused. But it's interesting because with modeling, they kind of chose you, but it sounds like you also like wanted to be a model, because some people will be like, I didn't really like it wasn't really my thing, but I'm just like so beautiful, like whatever. But it sounds like you really were like, I'm gonna crush this industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I had made that hard decision like to not go to college, I felt a lot of pressure that I was like, I need to make this work. I felt very determined. I grew up playing sports. I know you did too.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of like, no, like this, I'm going to make this work and I'm going to be good at it and be successful. And I was like willing to do whatever it took to make that happen.
Play?
I played basketball, soccer, and lacrosse.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes, all the way up, I mean, until end of high school, senior year. So yeah, I think I was committed to it in that sense. Like I wanted to do a good job really badly.
Yes.
And I was like, what am I going to do if this doesn't work out? Like go to college 5 years later? I don't know, which I kind of ended up doing. But regardless, that's how I felt about it.
How was your relationship with your body in the beginning?
I mean, in the beginning,
when you're young, I feel like you don't even know.
Yeah, like I look back now at what I looked like, and I was getting critiqued very early on. I was very athletic.
Yes.
And
it's a muscle tone.
Yes, very muscular. And I look back at that body and I'm like, I looked so good. I can't believe anyone told me that there was something wrong with that. Like I was so sporty and just so muscular. And now I like lift weights all the time to try to look like that. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think yeah, it was tough because people were like, I never fit the clothes when I would go to set. Meanwhile, I was like a size 4'6". And at the time, that was like wild for fashion. At that time in 2008, 2009, all models looked the same. Like they really did. They were all like blonde hair, blue eyes, often Eastern European, very tall, very thin.
Cheekbones.
Like there was like nothing else, which is like now you really can look back and be like, wow, it has changed significantly because you see so many different shapes and sizes, colors, and that's amazing. But me coming in like a brunette, a size 4, it was like, whoa, this girl is like out of left field.
Which is like so disturbing.
Yeah, like so I would get the feedback a lot that I needed to lose weight, try not to be so muscular, which like how do you even do that? I tried. And it made me hate my body a lot when I was younger.
Well, it's crazy because you are a high performing person, like you want to do well, and they're basically saying like have a calorie deficit to do well.
Right.
And as a woman who's like it's a disastrous situation if you don't take care of your mental health, I feel like. And you're alone from your parents?
Yeah. Well, my parents were like an hour and a half away, luckily, so they came to visit all the time. But I was like, basically I was told to lose weight, and I was like, okay. And I did whatever it took to do that, and I lost so much weight. I probably like almost 30 pounds, more than that, like just to get to be like the right size for the industry. But it was hilarious because once I lost all of that weight, a lot of the clients that I had been working with consistently were like, yeah, you looked better before. This doesn't really like work for you. And there I am, like so skinny, like cheekbones. Like, what do you mean? Like, I work so hard to get like this.
It's like, oh, you actually look better the way your body wants to be naturally.
Right. And it did look horrible on me and totally unnatural. So I had to take a lot of time to like heal that relationship and figure that out. And it took a long time.
And I'm so proud of you for it. And also I feel like when I think of you, I think of just like the close-up shot of like you're so good at like you have your cheeks and your teeth and your eyes and that like pops, and like it's so not related to like, oh, like how skinny is she? It's just like your energy comes through the screen.
Yeah, thank you.
Just for the girlies to get some tips from a supermodel. I fuck up so many photos because I'm chatting during it. You know, I'm like putting peace signs up. Do you have any advice for like looking your best in a photo? I know it's a loaded question.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I have a video on YouTube, actually. It's like my most watched video, how to look good in every photo. So you guys can go watch that.
Yes.
But I think in general, always try to like elongate your body as much as you can. So being like hunched over with your limbs close to your body, never good. Always good to show off the waist. So if you can kind of show that off in some way, just don't have everything close to your body. Also, put your tongue on the roof of your mouth just to kind of sculpt.
I really was trying.
Your face just cracked me up. Sorry.
And she's a model. I'd be a model. People didn't laugh at me when I tried to pose.
But when you do that, it kind of sculpts like your jawline flat on the roof of your mouth.
Oh, I did it.
Because when you don't, then it kind of like you're less defined in that area. And also just making yourself look a little alive in the eye area. It's never good to like look into the camera like
but if you're shooting for like 20 minutes, I would lose it in the eye.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of like have to go to a different
Or like
place.
when you have to smile, like
yes.
Do you have to do muscle exercises to keep the smile?
No.
You're like, I can smile for 12 hours straight.
But there are definitely by the end of the day, like you're deceased because you're just like having to put on like an act all day long.
Yes.
And also because you're like quiet, obviously on set, like your brain is like in a totally different place.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an outer body experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. But I'm so proud of you for like at an early age finding what brings you joy, making that shmoney, but it also to go from someone who like probably like didn't even have a credit card to suddenly having like some wealth. People don't tell you like how to even like have wealth.
Yeah.
And you actually just went viral on TikTok for
what did I
I saw like an article pop up, but basically you were talking about Paris.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I was talking about that with one of my best friends just the other day, who's also a model, like how much money they would make you spend on clothes. Which I framed it obviously in a way to like make it go viral.
Yeah, the title was you were forced to spend $10,000 a day on all black clothes.
Yeah, 100%.
In Paris because they want you to look more chic.
Yes, correct.
And less American. Sorry, I was very into this article.
Yes. So that is exactly what happened. Like basically, and my girlfriend who's a model also confirmed. She was like, that is what would happen. My mom would be there too. And I would go to my agencies overseas and they would be like, you know, I would be wearing whatever, like Forever 21 and not cute clothes, but I didn't know how to dress. I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to dress like a model, put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would be like, you know, this doesn't work. And on one hand, I give them credit. They were like, you're about to go meet Karl Lagerfeld. Like you can't wear Forever 21. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, like no worries. But then we would go to like all of the fashion spots in Paris and they would be like, here's like your Balenciaga shoes and like your Lanvin pants and like this blouse and this and this. And they'd be like, perfect, like go check out. Like this is your your new like all black model wardrobe, and it would be like 10 grand, and me and my mom would be there like, oh my God.
See, I get money anxiety. I would throw up. I would throw up in right there. But also, if you think about it from business perspective, if you're going to make 100 grand on a Dior campaign.
Right.
Because you invested 10K into your outfit.
Right.
But if you don't get these campaigns, that is pressure.
Yes, totally.
You're eating croissants, like one croissant a day. You can't afford to eat at a restaurant in Paris.
Yeah. And it was funny because in that video, everyone was like, well, everyone was like, show us what you still have. And I like did not have anything. Because I like had gotten rid of all of those clothes, probably because they were all trigger warnings. But like I was literally like, I can't look at these like size 24 pants.
I remember Tyra Banks in America's like Top Model would talk about their like personal style when they were getting judged. Like, what is this? And I was kind of like, okay, give these girls a fucking break. They're not taking a photo right now.
Yes.
But I guess it's like your brand that you exude. I hope nowadays because of social media that women are getting stuff sent to them.
Probably.
But like back then, we didn't have
that wasn't a thing.
Like what, Facebook? You weren't like going viral on Facebook.
No, definitely not. You would never get anything for free like 10 years ago in a million years. So you had to like invest in your wardrobe, and model street style was very much a thing.
Was your mom into fashion?
No. My mom is like the biggest tomboy ever. She has like short hair and wears Lululemon 24/7. Like she is
obsessed with her.
Yeah,
because I didn't know anything about fashion. So when people were telling me like the cost of things, and I'm like, but it looks just like that.
Right.
But that's jeans.
Yeah, jeans I would never spend like a lot of money.
Or like I still don't understand the Birkin. Like I still can't understand.
No. And TikTok has made the Birkin like something, a different beast, I feel.
I can't do it. So you have so many amazing stories. The way you met your husband is the most incredible story I've ever heard. Again, your life is a literal rom-com.
That you part have to of my write life a book. Is.
No, okay, you get discovered in a mall. Then tell me how you met your husband, because this is straight up a rom-com.
Yes. So I met my husband, Kyle, flying from New York to Denver, Colorado. I was going to shoot the cover of Vogue Australia in Vail. And then he was going for like a work ski boondoggle thing. And we sat next to each other and we started talking. I slept the first half of the flight. Honestly, I was
playing hard to get.
Yeah, totally. Like Kyle was like, yeah, she couldn't get enough of me. Like love at first sight. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I slept like the first 3 hours.
You're
but
like,
okay.
Can you move your
like,
elbow, sir? Your elbow's
no.
on my chair.
But then we started talking and we had a lot in common. We were both from upstate New York. We had friends in common.
Was this like during the flight you were talking? Okay, that's intense.
Yes, and it was funny because all of his coworkers and people he knew were sitting around us. So everyone was like witnessing this happen. So everyone was kind of like, what's going on up there?
This makes me laugh because there's that joke that you have sexual tension with literally anyone relatively close to your age in airport. Totally. It's like an airport crush where like he could be so ugly, but he's like 32 and I'll be like, we're gonna fuck.
Yeah.
But you met your husband.
Yeah. And you know, at the time when we were talking, he was so nice and he was so polite, and I did not get the vibe that he was hitting on me, which probably worked in his favor to anyone out there. Like he was just being very nice.
You don't want to feel creeped on in like a closed environment.
That would have been awful. But he was very persistent and called and called and called. And I remember I was traveling for work, like booked, busy, and I was like, why does this guy that I met on the airplane keep calling me? Like, what does he want? And he was like, I'm trying to like get you to hang out. And I was like, oh, well, I'll be back from Paris in like 3 weeks. So I'll let you know. I came back and then we got together and then we kind of started dating after that.
I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
Wait, how was your dating situation before you met Kyle?
I mean, I feel like I had dated some male models and
I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't recommend that phase for anyone. I guess it fulfilled like a certain.
Yeah, you want to be like, oh, I could get this guy who has like perfect ratio of bone structure. And then you realize that they're human too.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Like good looking people can be assholes? Damn it.
Yeah, but unfortunately when you're a model, like you kind of only meet other models or other people like in entertainment, whether it's at events or shoots or photographers, assistants. So that's kind of like the pool you're working from, which is not the best pool, in my opinion. I wouldn't revisit it if I was single today, that's for sure.
So for girls who their dream is to be with a male model, what would you say?
I would say that is, it's interesting because with male models, sure, they're attractive, but actually in the modeling industry, it is the only industry I feel, except maybe porn, where women make more than men. So male models tend to be broke.
You're like, they're literally just like a prop on the set with me.
No, unfortunately they are, and it makes them so upset. I'm so sorry if you're a male model watching this, but they make like a quarter of what female models make. So you don't want that. Not that it's about money, but like he may be hot, but
you want him to be smart with his finances.
Yeah, I feel like that's not really not my thing. I feel like I supported my maybe ex-boyfriends more than I would have liked who were male models.
You're such a sugar mama. I love it. You're like, I'm paying some child support to the models. They have no children, but I'm paying. They are my children, my ex-model boyfriends. I love that for you. So Kyle is like finance bro.
Yes, finance
cute.
Bro. I know. I feel like when on TikTok, when people rip on like dating finance guys or how horrible they are, I'm sure you've even talked about it.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, it's hilarious because certain things are like, it's totally true. And
every now and then they get in like a conversation about crypto that you're like, I'll maul my eyes out.
No. Yeah. We like, I listen to all of his work conversations and like know what's going on. But aside from that, I'm like, it's fine. But yeah, he works in private equity and he was an investment banker before that. So such different industries. Yeah. Like it's wild. But he still helps me with like certain work aspects and business things. But for the most part, like so different in that sense.
How did you realize he was the one?
You know, I felt like I was never confused with Kyle. Like he was just so straightforward and so persistent and so just like, I love you. I care about you. Like
no games.
Zero. No games. And still to this day, no games. I'm never confused with him. I always know his intentions, which are always good and always caring. And he was just a good person through and through. And we had so much fun together. And I felt like I learned so much with him and from being around him. And I could see us building a life together. But I think the main thing
respected
was, like,
him emotionally.
Yes, I very much respected him emotionally. And I've loved the way he like prioritized us and our relationship and like the growth of it. It was just clear. Like I never was like tortured by it or like it was just easy.
As someone who also travels for work, how did you guys handle like you having to go to Japan for 4 weeks or that kind of stuff?
In the beginning, that was really, really hard. Like I would be gone for weeks at a time. And I think for him, he was very confused by that because he was like, so when are you coming back? And sometimes I would be going from like Paris to Russia to Milan to London. Like he would be like, when are you coming back? And with modeling, you find out sometimes about your jobs like 3 or 4 days before.
Or you're like being on hold.
Right. You're on hold or you're like, oh, can you please just go to Paris after you go here so you can do this job? And you're like, I guess so. I'm already in Europe.
It sounds so glamorous. Like I know a lot of it's not, but you're like, oh, I have to go to Paris. Like, I'm forgetting.
No, I know it sounds like that. I totally get why it probably sounds like that. Probably sounds obnoxious.
Where do you travel now, though, to like, because as a tennis player, I used to play a lot in Florida. And there was a long time where everyone was like, let's go to Florida. And I was like, I can't even look at a palm tree. I'm triggered. Yes. So where do you go?
So that's how I felt about Paris, actually. The one time we had a wedding in Paris, I cried hysterically before we went because I so badly didn't want to go because I was so triggered by that place. And he was like, Paris is amazing. And actually, when I could go and like eat and enjoy and like have fun, I was like, what a great city. But the way I had experienced it prior was not great. Where do I go now? Gosh, I don't know. Since I had a baby, I don't go anywhere.
I love that for you. What a great segue, though, because I'm in a situation where I just got married and something happens. Like I always wanted kids. I never like had a distinct plan, but we got married and that night we went to bed and I was like, I want you to have my babies. I want to do it. Like there's something that comes over you. But then I'm like, traveling around doing stand-up and stuff and it's not, and everyone's like, you can't have it all. You can't have it all. How have you navigated your career, popping out the kids? You're pregnant currently.
Yes. How have I navigated it? Am I navigating it? Is that what it looks like?
It's the word that I came up with.
I'm like, I feel like
because you could be a pregnancy model.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, never. I'm not gonna be on my feet for 12 hours. Like, and also I'm not one of those pregnant people, and I'm not saying this to fish for compliments. Like, who's like a cute pregnant person? Like, I get pregnant all over. When I was like. No, I'm not a pregnant model. I'm a regular model, not a maternity model. Anyway, managing my career, first of all, with having kids, I will say I don't think you're ever ready. Like, even if you think you're ready, you're not ready. Like, I feel like that's cliche advice, but it's true because what hits you on the other end, you're like, didn't foresee any of this. No one told me any of this. Like, or how I was going to feel in this role or how I was going to take it. That's a combination, I'm sure, of like hormones and all of that. But in terms of my career, I mean, obviously it halts kind of the modeling side of things. But then I also have kind of like my influencer career, call it, or content creator career. And then I also have a skincare brand called Covey.
Yes!
So that keeps me super busy, thank God, because I think if it all just fell flat after having children, like that would be really hard.
Definitely as an entrepreneur, it's smart to not have all your eggs in one basket. I love multiple sources of revenue.
Yes,
you know
like,
what's going to happen. But Covey, you sent to me early on. And as someone who I get very overwhelmed with like too many products.
Yeah.
And I was always like, what goes first? And then I would buy all these different things, and I'd get scared that if you combine certain things, it's not meant.
Yeah.
So you came out with this like really easy peasy like 3 steps that I like loved. I'm still using the moisturizer. I think I ran out of one thing. Is there anything about Covey that you want to tell the audience?
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head or whatever the term is.
I'm a
but
influencer.
I think had been a model for so long, came from the school of thought that more was more when it came to skincare and beauty. My skin would suffer and be flaking and like falling off my face, burning and itching because I would put everything on my face that was ever recommended to me. My dermatologist was like, less is actually more with skincare. You know, if you're using the right products in the right order that are meant to be used together. So myself and my business partner started it, and we wanted to create a clean, simple, effective routine that was designed to be used together to take the guesswork and the complication out of it. It's really gentle but effective and totally clean. So that was our thinking behind it. And I'm just so proud of it because especially even now as a mom, like I don't have time to be, when I think about like my previous self-care routines and what I would do, your time just whittles away. So now I'm like, gosh, Covey is like so relevant to me because it's like so easy and so quick. And then like, of course, my skin is still important for me in my life.
And I love it so much because I'm like, if Emily does it, I can do it. Yeah. I'm like, this is Supermodel approved.
Yes.
It's also, do you feel like your life has really, really, really changed since having kids?
Yeah, I do. I feel like your brain gets so altered. Like, I just feel like no one talks about how different you feel and you kind of can't go back to who you were. That's how I feel. Maybe that's my depression talking. Let me call my therapist.
But I feel like it could be dark or really light.
Yeah, like I just feel like you change so much as a person. And I also think what was hard for me also was like my whole life and spirit and energy was altered so much. And then you look at your partner, and for men, it's just so different. Like their lives don't change as much as you do. And that's a lot of hormones too, right?
And they can't even relate to like so many parts of it. They don't even know how certain things feel.
Yes. Like I remember when I was postpartum and I was like in a diaper and like not sleeping at all because you're like still bleeding and like so much going on and you're breastfeeding and like there's just like liquids leaking from everywhere. And I just see my husband who's just like about to go do like a Peloton class and I'm like, this is so messed up. Like what the? But yeah, I do feel like it alters you significantly, but also in amazing ways. Like you become so much stronger than you ever imagined. Like for me, actually, pregnancy and childbirth and being a mom makes me look at men like they're so one-dimensional in a way because as a woman, I look at myself and my friends and how much we do and think about and the emotional intelligence it requires, but also juggling their careers and a million things. I'm like, women, like, even though it's like kind of painful, do it all. And it's wild. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
Not given enough credit, like ever in a million years.
Did you have some postpartum depression?
I did. I actually more so had postpartum anxiety, which is
what
different.
is that?
So a lot of people warn you about the baby blues, postpartum depression. And I was so like ready for that and terrified, like had therapist on speed dial. But I got like someone called postpartum anxiety, like postpartum depression's evil bitchy sister, which it is. So I had it basically like I could never sleep even when the baby was sleeping. And I would stay up all night and I was obsessed with time and counting, like almost like this obsessive compulsive coming out.
Like a sense of wanting control.
Trying to, but you can't with a newborn. And then also extremely intrusive thoughts, like you just picture yourself falling down the stairs, like holding your newborn, or that you're accidentally going to like fall on top of a knife somehow, like truly final destination thoughts.
Yeah.
But what's so crazy is I remember talking to other moms and they're like, oh my God, honey, it's totally normal. I had that too. And I'm like, no one
talks about
told me that I was going to have the most like murderous final destination thoughts of my life. It's super disturbing too, because the way motherhood is displayed is so like,
Yeah, like their overalls and they're holding the baby while like painting the baby room.
No. So, and I think I could not leave the house. That was super hard for me. I don't think I left the house with my daughter Teddy until she was like 6 weeks old, because I would think about letting go of the stroller, someone coming over, and in the moment, like I just remember I was drenched in sweat at all times, like just thinking about the most horrible case scenarios at all times. Mm-hmm. It was not great. But
but now you're like, let's do it again.
Well, yeah. I mean, Mother Nature does you so dirty because you forget. You're asking me right now, and you're like, did you have postpartum depression? I'm like, hold on, let me think about that. It was a year ago. So yeah, I had that other thing, and you do forget, which is also probably why when you ask other moms about things, they're like, oh yeah, I remember that.
We blocked it out.
Yes, like yes.
It's also, you've had such a successful career in your 20s. You're now 31.
Yes.
And it has me thinking, like I talked to my therapist about it. She's like, what do you define as success? Mm-hmm. When is enough?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you've conquered the modeling world in so many ways. Now that you're taking on becoming a mother, how do you assess your career differently? Or like, are there still a lot of goals you want to do in the modeling world?
You know, I feel like it hurts in a way because it's like, it's just ever evolving and changing. And there are some days where I'm like, I want to start a podcast and I want to do this and I want to do this. And then there are other days where I'm like, I actually don't want to do any of that. I just want to like be at home with my daughter and wipe myself from the internet if that was even possible. I think it's like I'm still figuring out what my identity is like after having a baby. And I think it frustrates me not knowing, because I was a very goal-oriented person. If there was something hanging in front of me, I'd be like, I'm going to go get that.
But sometimes you're like, I want to make all this money. And then you're like, for what? So that you can afford to maybe like live in the suburbs and like have kids and not work. But then you're like, but all I know is work. So yeah, I think I'm going to have trouble with that too.
Yeah.
Like, because there's no end game. We like the journey of like the work.
Totally. And it's really hard. You do have to reassess and reevaluate like what fulfills you and why is that fulfilling you.
Yeah, it's like, why do you want that? Are you trying to prove something to someone?
Totally.
Yeah.
So that's complicated. I don't have a great answer for that. I guess the answer is no, I haven't figured it out. I'm figuring it out.
I love that. I also I watched the Victoria's Secret documentary.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Were you an angel?
No, I was never an angel. I went to a lot of the Victoria's Secret fashion show castings. I was actually going to do a TikTok about this because I still have the emails of like the casting requirements and what they would ask you to do and wear. But no, I was never an angel. I just did the catalog here and there, but that never quite.
Honestly, I loved the catalog. Growing up, I loved the catalog.
Same. Oh my gosh.
The clothes were great.
The clothes were great, and I wore a VS Pink. I was all over it. I loved it. And I totally wanted to do it. I mean, it totally messed with my head as like a younger adult. But I did Sports Illustrated swimsuit, which was like different and like a little more like accepting of like different sizes.
Why do you think you weren't chosen?
Because I was too fat for sure at the time. That's what like it was. I was too curvy for sure. I always got the feedback that I was too curvy or too athletic. And
ew, I hate that they say too athletic.
Yes, that was a big thing then. But like also Victoria's Secret models, when you look back, had such a specific figure because actually in like the 2010s, they were athletic but had like six-pack abs but like super skinny legs. And I never had quite that proportion. Remember
six-pack
that?
abs were trending? That was
crazy.
The most toxic shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then with like the BBLs, like girls would have a six-pack with a fat ass. And I'm like, girl, you cannot have a fat ass without a little protection on the ovary.
So true.
Right?
Yeah. No, but it was like, I mean, they went through their own phases of like what the ideal body was and told us what it was. But yeah, it just never worked out for me. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't because I was too fat. Maybe they just hated me. But either way, I didn't get
chosen. My personality.
They're like, actually, it wasn't your body.
We just angels and you're going to hell. Also, have you had pressure to get plastic surgery?
No, I have never gotten. Have I? Wait, hold on.
You're like, my entire face is something else.
Let me think about that. No. I never have.
Because you've probably done like intense dermatology type stuff or skin.
No, actually not a lot of that either because I felt like I was young and all of that. No, one's ever asked me to do plastic surgery.
How about like Botox and stuff?
No, not that either. Because for me, I was the face of Maybelline. If like my face was like frozen or looking crazy when you came in, like you couldn't even dye your hair without asking. Yeah. Like you can't walk in with your face looking different. So no. Wow. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yes.
One other question. This is more for me. I am always bloated in some capacity.
Yeah.
And I remember on my wedding day, the only thing I was like, please just don't be bloated. And I like purposely was like trying not to eat too, like I was like snacking.
Yeah.
And right before I was supposed to go down the aisle, I was like, I'm starving. And there was just like a turkey wrap right there. And I just shoved it in my face.
I did that too before my wedding. I ate a cheeseburger like right before I walked down the aisle.
Right before I just like was
crazy.
panicking.
Yeah.
But I know, like, I've done some like sports type shoots, like tennis shoots, and I just remember thinking, like, you just have to make sure, because your body looks so different at different times of the day.
Yeah.
Based on like smelling a cheeseburger, I could bloat.
Yes.
What was your way of kind of making sure your body was like leveled and balanced?
Yeah. I mean, a small tactical tip, like for feeling less bloated, a trainer gave me this advice, and it does work, eating asparagus before a shoot because it's a natural diuretic, but it doesn't make you feel awful, and it's obviously like a natural way.
Yeah.
But in general, to feel balanced for me, I always feel the best when I'm lifting really heavy weights and I'm eating mostly protein, vegetables, and like light on carbs. People don't want to hear it, but that's what it is.
What's the craziest thing you ever did to like get ready for a shoot?
Oh my gosh. I remember one time I went to this like dungeon spa in New York. I swear if it still
There's actually so many of them.
I know. And that's actually like not
Every
even
block.
crazy. Yeah. Dungeon spa, and did like some sort of weird diuretic seaweed scrub wrap, and I was being whipped with like leaves and stuff. Like I maybe it wasn't even a spa. It was probably like a sex dungeon. I didn't know what was happening. But in the goal to like, I don't know, lose a few pounds.
You're like,
I remember,
scare the weight out of me.
Yeah. I just remember for that specific one, I had a really, really big shoot. Call it in like 5 days. And they were like, you are looking so great, but you just need to lose 3 or 4 more pounds before the big day, which was like 5 days away. And you're like, for sure.
Like a wrestler.
Yeah, like a wrestler. Very similar. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do? So I did a million things to try to lose
How
it.
do you deal with like that level of hunger?
I was
I'm
just so cranky.
Cranky. I would like faint. I get like jittery.
I was so cranky and I was so miserable. And like, even when you do get to like that quote unquote goal weight, you're so miserable.
Yeah.
Like life, there's no joy. And
so you're saying
yourself.
What was the quote?
Like nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. That's not true.
I disagree with that so fucking much.
Because also anytime I'm super thin too, I'm usually like mildly depressed.
I
for
also
some reason or another.
When I'm really skinny, my head looks kind of big. That's what
Everyone does. Like bobblehead effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a weird phobia of being hungry. Like before I go on stage, I'm like, someone get me some hummus. Like where most people, I just would rather not be hungry.
Yes.
Than feel like a little bit bloated on stage.
Yeah, because then you can't think clearly. You're not yourself. Yeah. I'm the same exact way. I would be on set and be like, I don't want to get bloated or this or that. But then you're expected to like be on your feet all day long and like performing. And you're like, you can't do both. Or I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any editing faux pas or like seeing yourself in the campaign and being like, who is that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's been like so many times where I'm so excited for a shoot to come out. I remember one time in specific and I was like, wait, is that me? I'll never forget it. They like photoshopped my eyes to someone else's like nose and mouth and lips. And I was so sad because I was like, that is me, but it's like not me. And yes, I've watched myself be photoshopped in front of my eyes multiple times. And that when I was younger was so painful. And I would just like watch them like elongating my legs and like cinching the waist. I mean, like face tuning you in front of your eyes. And you're just like, oh, wow, that's so painful.
And you're like, they're basically like, thanks for the raw footage. Like we can work off of this.
Also, I remember always being like, why did I even bother trying to like lose weight for this shoot? If you're going to do that, let me be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a cover or something big and like not liked the photo?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Many of times. Like especially like Sports Illustrated in specific, just because like I remember many times the issue would come out. No hate on them.
Yeah.
It's just like a different genre of modeling. So sometimes when the pictures would come out, I would just be so unhappy.
It's not editorial.
Yeah. Like I would just be like, oh, I wish I wasn't wearing that G-string bikini. I usually wear one pieces. Well, shit. So
yeah, you didn't feel like it aligned with you sometimes.
Yeah, like you're just like, yeah.
I also, in the shoots that I've done, they'll always... Like I recently did an express shoot, which I love. Like I did a holiday campaign with I was like, channel your Emily's Diaz. But I always wear my hair down the middle because I have a lot of weird whatever you call it,
like cowlicks.
Yeah. So they look at me and they're like, we're putting your hair to the side.
Oh.
And they were like, are you okay with that? And I'm like, I mean, I don't love it, but I also like would let anyone do anything to me. And I'm like, thank you. I looked like Donald Trump. Like the whole shoot, my hair at the side, and you also don't feel confident with your hair at the side.
Yeah.
But I mean, I ended up kind of pulling it off. But I just remember looking at Paige and being like, is my hair insane right now?
Yeah, no, you can totally say,
or
like, I don't like that.
They'll do crazy things that I've never had done before. Because I also like I don't look at myself in different ways so much. Like you're probably so used to all this different kind of makeup where I'm like, I know the makeup I like, I know the hair I like, and I go on set and they'll do like the crazy, put my hair in some insane bun.
Yeah, you should have told them. Actually, a lot of models do have preferences about like the way their hair is parted, the way their makeup is done. Some of them prefer to do certain aspects of it themselves.
I guess I always assume that like they know better than me, but then it's kind of like, do they?
No, because you know what you want to look like.
Yeah, and how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Emily, this has been amazing. We're gonna wrap it up with a final game.
Okay.
I mean, I could ask you like a bazillion questions, but we don't have time. One final question though. So you're in the suburbs now?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Yeah. Why?
That's my only question.
Yeah. I can't answer that yet. No, I grew up in upstate New York. Yes. I always pictured like raising my children like with a yard and that type of thing.
Your apartment in New York City was gorgeous.
Yes, and I loved New York and I loved being here, but like it was, no matter how big your apartment is with children, it's hard here. But anyway, I always picture the suburbs. I'm there. It's super strange and it's very isolating, and I definitely miss like a lot of elements of being here, but I am trying it on for size and I think I will eventually like get used to it, but it is a totally like out of body experience so far.
Wow.
It's just so quiet. Like when I'm there and it's just me and my daughter, I'm like, hello? Is anyone there? I'm like, no, it's just me.
The call's coming from inside the house. It's funny because Des and I have like a shack in West Hampton. And when we're there, I'm like, do we raise our kids in West Hampton?
Yeah, I know.
It's very tempting.
Well, that's like your motherhood brain like going
it's
on
like protecting
that.
And like I could see them doing all these outdoor activities. But then I'm also like, if our kids are in New York, like if they grow up on the Lower East Side, they're going to be doing like acid when they're 11.
Totally.
They're going to be cooler than me at 3 years old. But, I do like the schools.
I know there are so many pros and cons, and I definitely miss being able to just like step outside so easily and like grab coffee, see a friend, like do so much.
Because you have to factor like other people in your decision though. Like it's not just you anymore, which is like rude.
I know. You really, I know. That's like being a mom. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to think of like you and what's best for you and like the life you're going to have. So still TBD on how I feel about it. It's only been like a month.
Yeah.
So I feel so strange
You
every
are
day.
Fresh.
It's so fresh. Like even coming back here for this, when I texted you, I'm on my way. Like,
I know she said on her way at like 11 and I was like, girl, like, are you on a city bike? What's going on?
Yeah. So you know what? I'm adjusting. If anyone has any words of advice of how to adjust better or faster, please let me know.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I really think there's no right or wrong like decision. It's just like checking in all the time.
Yeah.
And you're making a change.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad you're doing it all at once, like really quick.
Yeah.
Pop them out, move to the suburbs.
I'm condensing it for sure. But being pregnant, suburbs, like all of that. I have a 1-year-old. I'm kind of like, who am I?
And you have a dog too, right?
I do, yes.
We love.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to play the 7 deadly sins. Okay.
How does it work?
What are you greedy about?
Greedy about? What are you greedy about? You go first so I can think.
Oh, look at her putting back on me. I always get nervous. What am I greedy about? I'm greedy about making people laugh. Like it's like kind of an addiction. It never gets old. I want to get as many laughs all the time. What other things am I greedy about? Food.
It's so weird. I am not even saying this to like make myself. I'm such a good sharer. Like I am. Like with everything. My husband's a horrible sharer. Like I don't know if I'm greedy.
Did you have siblings?
I have a brother and a sister. I'm the youngest. But I think also because I'm like a Pisces. I don't know. Like I don't get like that like possessiveness about like anything.
How about like money?
No. Definitely not. Very like fluid about that too. Like, I guess I'm greedy about like time with my daughter. Like I don't want anyone else to hang out with her or something, or just me, or I don't know. Maybe that. Like, or I get annoyed when other people are like,
you're like,
having
Kyle,
too
get
much fun
out.
with her. Yeah, like stuff like that. I gotta think on it. That's not a good answer.
No. That's actually a really good answer. Time with your daughter.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Sorry, my phone. Who are you envious of?
I feel like it's more of a motherhood thing, but I am definitely envious of like mommy bloggers. Like I turn into a literal troll on the internet when I see like moms who are like so picture perfect and like everything just seems so put together and like easy, and they don't share any of like the struggles or realness of motherhood. And I'm just like, I just like want to comment mean things like a literal troll. But I am definitely like, because I'm envious though, because I'm like, wait, was it actually like that for you? So you didn't think about like falling on a set of knives with your newborn like I was? So I envy that.
You're like, I want to leave disturbing hate comments.
Like, I do. Like when you think like, why do people leave mean comments? Is because they're hurting or they're triggered. Like that's me.
But it also like could be constructive to be like, I mean, not to say anything, but for them to be a little that's their job. They're trying to be aspirational.
They're exactly
so fucking annoying.
And I'm not inspired. I get like super triggered.
Yeah.
So but because I envy them and what it appears to be for them.
I also ranted about this on a different episode, but like the mommy bloggers who like their whole career is based off of their kids.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's especially as someone who was a model at a young age, like I don't think the kids are consenting.
Mm-mm.
I also think it's not fun. Like, I don't want my childhood to be remembering, like, hold this and say this to the camera when you don't want to. Like, I could see my kid doing funny things and me wanting to post it possibly, but not having my, like, career based on, like, if, you know, little Johnny wakes up and, like, does this ad.
Yeah, like getting them to perform. That's, like, their children. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
No, that's definitely not part of my brand, for sure. I mean, I think my daughter is beautiful and the cutest thing ever. Duh, I'm her mom. But like, I'm biased, first of all. Yeah. And I just think it doesn't benefit them in the end.
I also even think your brand overall as a model, you were always like really let people in.
Yeah.
Where I think models could be so aspirational where it's kind of like, you don't understand my life and like I won't make eye contact with you and like you just get away. That's like the energy I got from some videos. Where with yours, you were like, this is the day in the life of like me being a model in New York City. And it wasn't like, it was so honest and like your friend talking to a friend at brunch. Yeah. So I feel like even if you start making some mom content of like what you make for lunch for your kids or like how you navigate certain parts of it, it'll still be fun and relatable.
Yes, definitely. But it's never picture perfect because it just isn't. I can't lie about that.
No. I mean, even people who vlog, I'm like, where's the nap?
Yeah. Or like your messy closet. Like I'm always like, this place is a mess. It's messy and like looks insane.
Well, do you find it's harder now that you have more space to manage?
Yes, there's just messes everywhere. I'm so disorganized. It's horrible.
That's how I am. I say I'm a creative.
Yeah,
that's
same.
Why. When was the last time you experienced extreme wrath or anger?
Oh my gosh, all the time.
Really?
Well, that's actually a weird postpartum thing too. Sorry for your listeners if no one's pregnant or had children.
No, they want to know.
This pregnancy, I'm pregnant with a boy. So my first pregnancy, I was pregnant with a girl. I felt very like weepy and sad. This pregnancy, I'm straight rage. And I wonder if it's like the testosterone. Like I get so mad about things I can't even sleep. Like what, like, and there's so many things like I can't even, like I was so irritated before I came here because I didn't have the right socks for these shoes and my
foot
wouldn't slip in. And I literally threw it across the room in my closet like a psycho. So I feel a lot of rage. People probably would not expect that though.
And I guess it's like how you deal with anxiety where you have to be like, this isn't me. This is like so many chemicals going on in my body and brain right now.
Yeah.
I kind of love angry Emily. She's
I know.
A mood.
It's my husband's like, what is with you? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like so mad.
I can't wait to be pregnant and just do insane things. Be like, sorry, I'm pregnant.
You don't want to be that stereotype.
Just rob a bank and you're like, I'm pregnant.
I was like raging last night and eating a bowl of ice cream for dinner, and I'm like, this is the most pregnant thing I've like ever done. I'm like, here.
Have you had weird cravings?
No, but I still like eat whatever. Yeah. Like live my life.
Well, yeah. Do you feel pressure to keep your weight a certain way with
yeah. I felt like with my first pregnancy, I really fought it. Like I worked out every day and like tried to eat so healthy. I still gained like 35 pounds, like which is normal.
Which is what
but like,
should,
yeah. But like this pregnancy, I just felt like I was kind of fighting it. and like without success, because I still like my body did what it needed to do. So I feel like with this pregnancy, I'm like, it's gonna do what it needs to do. And then postpartum, I'll figure it out like I did last time. Like I'm not fighting it this time. It's too exhausting.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love hearing moms talk about their second kid versus their first kid.
Yes.
The second kid, you're like, he's in the car somewhere. I don't know where he is, but he's there. When was the last time you were a sloth? So like super lazy.
Oh my gosh, all these questions. I'm pregnant. It's like all the time. Like literally.
But also you're a mom too.
I know. Well, the thing is, when you have young children, my daughter goes to bed at like 6:30 at night.
Oh, cool.
So then I like crawl into bed immediately and put on like my heated blanket and watch TikTok for like 8 hours.
Amazing.
So like
honestly,
every
sounds
night.
like my life right now.
So every night.
I love that so much. When was the last time you let your ego get in the way of something? Your pride.
My ego or my pride?
It could be work, relationships, friendships.
Oh my gosh, can you answer first? I need an example.
Oh, good question.
Ego or pride?
I feel like with creativity, I could get my ego in the way. Like I'll do something for a brand and I'll make it like so fucking funny. And they'll be like, hey, legally, we can't say the word shart. And I'll be like, that's literally taking away from the whole point of the video. And I'm an artist and you guys are not understanding my creative vision for this. And the video is going to bomb if I don't say the word shart. And my manager has to be like, it's literally like they're lawyers. Like this is the rule. And I'm like, well, I can't do my comedy in this environment. So yeah, that's an example.
But like that's valid. Like you are a creative. My ego got in the way. I mean, I feel like my ego, it gets in the way in the sense that like with my career, I guess, because I can't think of a specific time, but I definitely at times like look at what other models are doing or like achieving, and then I compare myself, and it gets in the way because I kind of shut down. I like don't get inspired. I just go like everyone's so much better than me, and like I used to be like something, now I'm not, and then I just shut down.
Yeah. Did you get bullied when you were younger?
No, not really.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of tall. You just
that wasn't
like
my
you
thing.
could take.
Yeah, I totally could. I used to beat the shit out of my
because
sister.
like you like found success at a very early age.
Yeah.
Which I do say that does fuck you up with what you just said. Being like, okay, I had this.
Right.
And then like life goes on.
Yeah.
Sometimes people when they're young and get huge success, it could really fuck them up. Because they feel like less than. But it's really just like you're on your own journey and like popping at different times.
Yeah.
And also some would argue like, what is your definition of success? You're going to have a beautiful boy and a girl.
Right.
And a beautiful home.
Yeah, I guess it kind of gets in the way it doesn't get in the way of motherhood, but it's like the ego of like wanting to be successful, which sometimes for us means views, likes, like visibility, being relevant.
True. Sometimes the numbers, you're
Right.
like, you feel like they don't lie and they're telling you something.
Right. So then that sometimes I'm like, I need more of that. Like I need to focus on that. But then I'm like, well, actually like don't. That's not the most important thing.
And also some people will do social media so they could one day get a Maybelline campaign.
Right.
So you're kind of like working in reverse,
I'm like,
which is really funny.
yeah, because I like, yeah, it's weird. Did that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. Okay, obviously we're obsessed with Kyle, but when was the last time you lusted over someone like celebrity? Do you have like a celebrity crush?
Oh my gosh. Celebrity crush. I'm so bad with that because like I think I'm bad with that because I have met enough celebrities in my career that like they're always so disappointing. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
1,000%.
You're always like, so then the crushes stop because you're like, I know you're going to be so much more insecure and shorter than I ever imagined.
That, or like you realize that there's a reason why they try to be so famous, and it's because they're like intolerable to be around and they take up all the air in the room.
Lusted over a celebrity. My God. Like I can't even think of a
You like
celebrity.
actually hate them.
Yeah, I actually kind of do.
Yeah.
I do.
I love that.
Like
for
whenever
you.
I'm in the same room as any of them, I'm like, why are you the worst? Like I've literally had, oh my gosh, yeah, they're so rude to be around too sometimes. Yeah.
I know exactly. You're
know?
like, you don't need to do this. But then I do feel like some celebrities, they'll do like the tiniest thing, like say thank you to a waiter, and everyone's like,
I know.
they are so down to earth. And I'm like, they said thank you for the appetizer.
Yeah. No, they're never down to earth. Oh my God, I'm a celebrity hater. You heard it here first.
But it's so funny because I feel like you're like so recognizable.
I guess.
As in like they should suck up to you if they're clout chasing.
Yeah, I never felt that. I just always felt like anytime I was like Yeah, I do feel like, I guess I don't like that energy of like people fawning over. I also don't like it in return either. I don't like when I feel like people are fawning over you for a certain reason. I hate it as a model because it's always like fake and phony anyway. Yes. But I also
it's uncomfy, like human to human. That's not supposed to be an interaction.
Just be normal.
You're like, you're making this up in your head. Yeah. Like, I'm literally existing in front of you.
So I think celebrities expect that energy, and I'm always like, but you're the worst. Why would I do that?
That's literally so iconic because it's coming from experience. You're like, I researched it and here's my hypothesis. I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Also, what are the murmurs in the modeling community, now that we have, they call them like the Nepo babies.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Can we have your kind of 2 cents on it all?
I mean, I feel like I agree. I feel like the opinion has shifted slightly. Like, I feel like over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of conversations about it. Like, when people are like, Nepo babies work as hard as other models, like, that's not true. Mm-hmm. Because Nepo babies, like, the minute they walk onto set, they already are a celebrity. When you walk on as a nobody, you are not respected. People sometimes treat models absolutely horribly.
You're like a human clothing hanger.
Yeah. Like, I just remember being on a set once with a Nepo baby, and she took a nap. I've never taken a nap on set in my life, like, for any reason. And I've been like on set with the flu, not on purpose. But anyway, like, they're treated completely differently. They are treated like celebrities because they kind of are already celebrities. Like, they already are. Mm-hmm. So like, they do get a level of respect that I think other people on set, whether you're a model or not, don't. So they definitely have a leg up, and they definitely have an advantage. And I don't know how you could ever argue otherwise, actually.
Yeah. And no one's arguing that like they're not beautiful or like they're not good at their job.
No.
It's more just understanding that there's certain privileges that come with like you're 5'5" and walking in a Chanel show.
Right. Or like, you walked into the room and everyone already knew who you were, what your name was, and you were respected. And that's just like models fight for like respect and recognition. I mean, especially prior to social media, for years. I mean, you walk into castings and you meet the same casting directors over and over again. They still don't know your name, and they still don't know who you are, where you came from, and don't care. So like, as a Nepo baby, you have that respect already. And it doesn't mean that they don't work hard once they're doing what they're doing, but they've got a leg up, no doubt.
Yeah. And I know I'm trying to like put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
Trying to be a little Nepo baby. It's so funny how we got Nepo babies. You just imagine all these like little babies running around.
But also, like, I don't think I think everyone has advantages in different areas.
Yeah.
Like, I think Nepo babies get themselves in trouble when they're like, no, I like didn't have an advantage. And it's like, it's okay, you did.
Yeah, like I started comedy with a following. And that meant that like I was able to sell tickets before I was like where I wanted to be in comedy. And so it's like I had an advantage, but like just had a different way of getting to like similar places.
Yeah, like already having a platform or a foundation to work off of.
Exactly.
But I don't like hate Nepo babies or anything.
Yeah,
not like I hate celebrities. They're different. Just to clarify.
This is not an anti-Nepo baby pod. We are pro Nepo babies. We just want them to understand
their advantage. That's okay.
Beautiful. Very well said. So to wrap this up, I always ask the same question at the end. What advice would you give people when they're in their hell, when they're in their darkness, when life is really hard? How do you cope with that darkness?
Oh my gosh, the darkness. I think that recognizing the darkness is the first and foremost most important. Sometimes I don't even recognize my own darkness, that I'm like in it. And then you're like, oh, I'm like not in a good place. Therapy. It's like the only thing I feel like that really, but you have to recognize that you need the help first and that you need to like talk to someone, a third party, have someone kind of let you know, like, it's okay, you're going to get through this, and have that support. I know that's a luxury, but for me, that's how I deal with my darkness.
Yeah, I feel like I agree, because I don't know I'm depressed sometimes until I'm out of it.
Same.
And you're like, oh my God, I have like a monkey off my back.
Yeah, I was actually feeling it recently because I was like, gosh, like doing these daily tasks are like so hard right now. And all I want to do is like lay down and watch TikTok, and I don't want to see anyone. And I tend to like withdraw from like friends and people. It's like, I don't know what is up with me. And then I was like, oh, I'm in it. I'm in the dark. I got there. I'm in the dark place.
You're in the not as enjoyable D.
Yeah. Not hell, but I'm like in the murky, like borderline.
Yes. And I think once, as you get older, you kind of know those red flags. Like when I'm like brushing my teeth seems like so exhausting.
Right.
And then you're able to be like, okay, let's do some things. Like at the end of the day, I feel like we are plants where it's like, let's drink some water. Let's go for a little walk.
Yeah.
And then let's reassess. You've been on TikTok for 7 weeks straight.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's fun and we're researching.
Yes. So true. Is that your excuse again?
Yeah, I'm literally researching.
I'm working.
It's
hard work.
So Emily, where can people follow you, watch you? Like, give me all the tea.
Yeah, you can find me at Emily DiDonato on Instagram, DiDonato Emily on TikTok, Emily DiDonato on YouTube, and my skincare brand is Covey, just at Covey on Instagram.
Yes, Covey. Yes. I highly recommend. Don't you have a new product out, or you just sent some new stuff?
Launched a body lotion. Yes, which I think you'll be getting.
I should be getting soon. I'm so excited. Yeah. Thank you for coming to hell with me, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Bye.